Okay, one of the best ways to start with a data set is to look at the measures of central tendency. Think of central tendency as possibly a balancing point, like on a seesaw, or perhaps that middle data point if you were to rank them and pull them out. So the balancing point is actually the mean, whereas that middle point when we're ranking things would be the median. They both make a lot of sense. We can talk a little bit about the mode here, but the mode usually doesn't make as much sense. Let me just show you how to create them first. So here I'm going to write in mean, median, and mode. And then right here, I'm going to come up to my bar up here, and I can actually click on the little FX symbol, which is the function symbol. I come up with average here. It's in my most recently used. If you haven't used it recently, you may have to come in here to the statistical menu where it will be alphabetically listed, and we'll go into that menu for some other things that we're looking for. But let's look for the average of the pre-test scores of my full day kindergartners. So I'll click OK. And Excel is so smart, it automatically chooses from cell B3 to cell B22, which is exactly what I want. I click OK, and there's my average, so that's my mean. Do you see this little green box down here? If I drag this out, I will get an average for every one of my tests. Now, just so that I don't confuse myself, I'm going to get rid of this average right here because what it is it's an average of the ID numbers. It doesn't make sense. Okay, so you can see that my full day kindergartners average went up quite a bit. My half day kindergartners average went up even more. And my homeschool kindergartners average didn't go up a whole lot. Okay, this is the start of thinking about this data. Now, sometimes an average can be skewed by one amazing point. Like, look over here, this score of 44 on the post test. That's really high. That could be skewing my average. Sometimes it pays to look at the median. So once again, I click on my function bar. I come over here and I'm going to go into my statistical menu and I'm going to scroll down until I get to the median. Here we go. Median. Okay. And once again, it's got from B3 to 23. I don't want 23 because that's my mean. I only want from B3 to B22. Otherwise, my mean throws off the median because it's ranking all of these points and pulling out the middle. Well, what if I have an even number of points and there are actually two in the middle? What Excel does is it averages those two. Okay, so now here's my median. My median is actually 7.5. It's less than my average. When the median is less than the average, that means that your data are skewed to the right. They're skewed to the direction of the average. If the average is bigger than the median, they're skewed to the right or skewed positively. And if your average is smaller than the median, they're skewed to the left or skewed negatively. So look at this, my median here so my median is smaller than the average on the pretest, meaning I have a positive skew because my mean is larger. But here, my mean is actually smaller than my median, meaning I have a little bit of a negative skew. And it could be a point like this student who got the 8 and then got the 16. Those are really low scores. And we'll talk later about doing this matched t-test. Even though the 8 is low and the 16 is low, this student still made quite a bit of progress, which is what we want to see. When we're able to do that paired t-test, we can pair the 8 with the 16 and say, that's fantastic. We don't want to pair this 25 with the the 16 because then we assume that the student actually lost ground during the kindergarten year. Okay, well now let's just do the mode. One last thing. I don't like the mode. The mode can be nonsensical, right? If two students happen to get the same um, score on a test, then that's going to be the mode, even if it's not anywhere near the center of our data. And remember, we're looking for measures of central tendency. I'm going to do mode mult because I might have multiple modes. And then I'm going to tell Excel that I'm looking right here at these numbers. And look, right here, the number 12 is the mode. And so it's going to put the number 12 in my box. Okay, great. However, there are times when there are more than one mode, and that can be a problem. So, in that case, there are a couple of different options. I've included a little handout for you to look at. But one thing I might do right here is I've got this mode. I'll hit enter. Whoops. Here's my mode. I guess I need to come up with a box again. Here's my mode. Now look here in the box. Between C3 and C22, I actually have 46, 45, 50, 52, and 16. Those are all modes um, in this data. Let me see if I can see the two 16s. Yep, I see them. And so I do have multiple modes right here, but when I click OK, only the 46 will end up in my box, and that can be a little bit difficult. But here again, click enter. Oops, excuse me here. Click the function bar. Okay, so 13 is the only mode in this box. Um, Whoops. And you have to be kind of careful. Click OK before you start clicking on other boxes, or you'll get a warning, just like I did. Anyway, this is a great way to come up with means, medians, and modes, or the measures of central tendency for your data. Then report all of these and discuss with me what they mean. Why are you going to talk about the mean or the median? Is it more important to include those skewed scores, or is it more important to have that middle point that tends to be more typical? Have fun with this. It's a great way to begin to explain our data.